Should Carmelo Anthony buy an ownership stake in the Wizards? Ooh, intriguing. And the Wizards get the 17th victory of the season, defeating the Sacramento Kings 116 to 111. Come on now, let's celebrate. Next on Locked On Wizards.
You are Locked On Wizards, your daily Washington Wizards podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
What's up, Wiz fam? It's your boy Brandon Scott again, a.k.a. BScott, with my guy Abdullah, a.k.a. AB. We are both credentialed members of the NBA media, and we are your hosts for Locked On Wizards. So, before we get in tonight's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can get $200 in bonus bets when you win your first $5 bet. It's that easy, y'all. So, like I said, a lot to talk about tonight. The Washington Wizards do get their 17th win of the season, defeating the Sacramento Kings 116 to 111. So we're going to recap that. And then some big news. Carmelo Anthony, hailing from B More, that's right, has said that he is not against buying an ownership stake in the Washington Wizards. And he just has some compelling ideas. So we're going to get into that question, whether he should or shouldn't and why. And then we're going to chop it up like we always do. So, all right, AB, the Washington Wizards do get their 17th win of the season. And both of us were very, very strenuous in them as far as maximum effort, playing hard, playing to win, playing all four quarters, keeping your foot on the pedal, man. So did they respond tonight? And what were some positives tonight?
No, definitely they responded, man. Again, effort. That's what all we ask for, especially in a team like Sacramento where they got ballers like Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, another Wizards killer, Sabonis, another Wizards killer typically, and JV coming back to DC. It was cool, him reconnecting with his teammates. But again, Jordan Poole, 23 points. Bob Carrington, 19 points. Tristan Vucevic getting into Malik Monk's face. That's what I like to see from a young guy. 17 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists. My guy, Vooch. And AJ Johnson, our boy, 19 points, 2 rebounds, 6 assists, 1 steal. Again, Alex Sarr, 15 points, 4 rebounds. Anthony Gill with 10 and 5. It was just it wasn't a whole lot of just JP and no one else. It was a team ball tonight, and that's what I love to see. And this is what I'm hopefully going to see in year 3 of this rebuild, where it's, hey, let's see what these young guys got, and let's see if they can fill their roles. And in the end, it was a 9-man rotation. A lot of guys were out with injuries, so the fact that they stepped up at home, they almost gave it away. But at the end of the day, those close games, that's how you're going to drag on into actually being a contender and winning those close games. So overall, a great day for the Wiz, man.
Absolutely, man. This was a good victory because it was a team victory. When they play as a team, they win as a team. This victory showed that. They played a really good team. And like I said, Sacramento's still finding their ways. They had an up and down year. Obviously, they fired their coach in Mike Brown. Doug Christie is the interim. And like I said, it shows my age because I remember watching Doug Christie play, man, especially, still in the second days, the Toronto Raptor days. So, getting old, AB. But very up and down year, man. Mike Brown being fired, De'Aaron Fox going to San Antonio. So, they got a lot of nice pieces over there, but they're in a very, very heavy Western Conference, man. So, good team. I mean, obviously there's a talent gap, but they played a really good team, in my opinion. And people are going to get them either the 10th seed, but like I said, Sacramento's not a scrap. They played against a really good team, and they held their own, man. 5 people stood up to me, and really 6 if you look at Anthony Gill, because I'm get on my guy Anthony Gill, because like I said, he is definitely our player coach, and he's been immaculate as far as being that leader on the bench, man. The 3-headed guard monster, Bob Carrington, Jordan Poole, and AJ Johnson. Come on now. Jordan Poole did what Jordan Poole does, score. 23 points, 8 for 14 for the field, 2 for 7 for 3. JP13 did what JP13 does, flat out score. But Bub Carrington and AJ Johnson, a glimpse of the future. Bub Carrington, 19 points, but 7 assists, 5 for 11 for 3. Come on now. Bub looked good tonight. Not only distributing the ball, but shooting that 3-point shot. Love what I see from B More Bub, man. AJ Johnson, again, a guy who's got star potential, man. AJ Johnson is just, I'm telling you, when it's all said and done, he's going to be special, like many players on this team. 19 points and 6 assists. So again, 7-14 for the field, 2 for 6 from 3. You saw the scoring prowess. You saw the athleticism, the explosiveness, but the 6 assists I really like, man, because he's another guy who could play the 1, he played the 2. I love the scoring, and I love the distribution. So the 3-headed guard monster looked good tonight. Now, the starting and backup center of the future, Alex Sarr and Tristan Vucevic, they did their thing tonight. Now, Alex Sarr, overall 15 points. But the way he did it tonight, AB, he was aggressive. When he's aggressive, this team is usually in a position to win the game When he's aggressive, he gets the most out of his potential, man, in my opinion. He showed some aggressiveness in the paint in the show, and some touch. And that's what we want to see from Alex. We know he can stretch the 4 from 3. We know he can hit the mid-range. We know from time to time he can get very active in transition and be that lob threat. But when he shows touch, when he shows aggression in the paint, this team is usually in a position to win the game. And that's how pivotal Alex Sarr's game is to this team, not only right now, but in the future. So Alex Sarr, good game, man. Shout out to him. But Tristan Vucevic, man, let me tell you this, man. 17 points, absolutely. But that man got some dog in him. I mean, Malik Monk tapped him. He said, come on. I mean, he almost got into that. I love the dog for Tristan Vucevic, man. I mean, he was like, come on with it. Come get some, man. I love it. I love the dog factor with Tristan Vucevic, man. I love the overall this dog factor with a lot of these young guys. Bo Carrington, Keyshawn George, AJ Johnson, Jordan Poole. The list goes on. These guys have some grit. And my argument for the last couple of games, man, especially going back to the 162 game performance, the loss, man, was you didn't see the effort. You didn't see that dog factor. You didn't see them really in the game, man. They were in another world, man. But when they play as a team, they win as a team. When you see them really buy into the game, man, and like I said, they kept the foot on the pedal, and this was a good game. They played all 4 quarters. And yes, in the fourth quarter, it was very, very close. But, I mean, come on, AB. This team looked good against a really good team. So, let's talk about the center rotation real quick. And like I said, I made it known that I'm not against adding another center, especially if it's a Danny Wolf. But, I mean, you saw the versatility tonight with Tristan Vucevic, because I believe on the second unit, before Holmes got hurt, they had Tristan Vucevic at the 4. And then both him and JT Thor kind of went back and forth with their positions. And, I mean, how excited are you with this team, not only overall, but the center rotation, where you have a couple of 7-footers where they can play the 5, they play the 4, they can stretch the floor, and they can protect the rim. How excited are you about the future with having 2 7-footers who are very versatile and they have so much to give offensively?
Very, very excited. I forgot to mention JT Thor with 3 points, but essentially the dagger, the freaking dagger. How about that? Even I was watching it from the Kings announcers, their perspective, and they're like, yo, no, ain't no way. That's backbreaking. Again, JT Thor, 3.7 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal. Just every single young guy on this team making an effort. And again, when have we had this idea or this team here in Washington where it's just so much talent, like how are we going to distribute? It's never been like that. We have so many options, which is a good problem to have. And I can't wait to see what this front office does. And eventually down the road, if they want to trade for that Donovan Mitchell type of player and package these young guys, they can package a lot of these young guys. So just going out there and balling. And JT Thor is one of those guys along with AJ Johnson and Colby Jones. So this is exciting, man. And going back to the center rotation, who knows if you go after a DQ or a Wolf out of Michigan, you're our guy. I mean, you got me onto him. It would be great. It would be great. So whatever this front office does this offseason, I'm full and confident they know what they're doing.
Oh, yeah. I mean, this front office knows what they're doing, man. I mean, I have all the confidence in the world in this front office because they've already shown in a small amount of time that they're already better than the previous 2 regimes, in my opinion. I mean, obviously the bar is low, so it didn't take much, but I mean, let's be real. The real work still needs to happen. So there's still a long road ahead, but Will Dawkins will get us there, man. Michael Winger will get us there. Travis Schlenk will get us there. So like I said, you can't help but be excited with this young squad because you see there's so much potential. I mean, looking down the roster who played tonight, you can't help but be excited about everybody. I mean, Bob Carrington, obviously, Jordan Poole, obviously, AJ Johnson, but Justin Shimpney, 8 points, but 11 boards. I love the fact that JV gets in the paint and is very active. I mean, I love his overall game. He's got that plays with his chip on the shoulder. I mean, he's from Brooklyn, man. He plays with that BK chip on the shoulder. I love it. So I'm with you, man. I'm very excited about how much young depth is on this team, man, because like I said, when they play as a team, they win as a team. And tonight kind of showcase that. I mean, the 3-headed monster guard rotation with Jordan Poole, Bob Carrington, and AJ Johnson, like I said, it really depends on where the ping pong balls go, right? But there's not an immediate needed guard. There's not. I mean, you can exclusively focus on small forward, power forward, and probably add in another center. You can rest assured that we don't need to add another guard because you have a French all-star in Poole. Bob Carrington looks like he's definitely the future. I mean, in AJ Johnson, you have 3 guys who are part of the future. I mean, this is a good problem. I mean, the problem we had before is we didn't have enough young talent. Now we have too much young talent, man. You know what I mean? It's like I get on my kids all the time about not learning different things. I'm like, man, look, with knowledge, you'd rather have something that you don't need than not know something that you need, right? So I'm just saying, we have a good problem here in the 202, man, especially when you look at the center rotation again. And like I said before, we roll Anthony Gill, 10 points. But the reason I bring him up is that, when we often talk about leadership, AB, I don't think we talk enough about AG, man. Anthony Gill he's the longest tenure Wizard. And he has been one of the most vital leadership guys, because you've seen so many people come in and out of DC. Anthony Gill's been here since 2020, man, and he's been consistent in being that veteran presence, man, being that kind of under the radar, because obviously he's been kind of a journeyman, right? He doesn't carry the clout as Chris Middleton and Marcus Smart, but I'm gonna ask you real quick before we move on, man. How impressed have you been with AG? And how vital is him? He's very under the radar, but how vital is he with the overall direction of this team?
Very, very vital. At the end of the day, this is a young Wizards team. And if you think about it, it's hard. You're a veteran being on going into a second season of a rebuild with under less than 20 wins, and you're not getting that much playing time. But AG going out there and making it impact, whether it's on the court and off the court, and you got to respect it, because a lot of guys, there's a lot of superstars that don't even want to talk to their young guys in their team, let alone even role players. So for AG, his contributions, I always love it, because at the end of the day, it's all about the young core that we have here in DC, and they have to learn as much as they can for these vets. So eventually we get to that championship team, and I hope he's on that team and eventually gets that type of role where he's contributing a lot. So I appreciate AG. He was from UVA. I'm a Hokies, but I'm a Hokie guy. But you gotta support every single Wizard, and AG is one of those guys where you just can't hate. You can't find anything to hate on him.
Yeah, man, look, you got a Hokie over here giving love to the Cavaliers. I'm just saying, I'm a Mountaineer guy. I'm a WVU guy, but I got love for the Cavaliers, man. And then, a little bit of love for you guys over there in Virginia Tech, the same, until we played them. You guys play the Mountaineers. It's all good. But I'm with you. AG, that shows you the good situation we have here, AB, is that when you look at leadership, tonight you saw Jordan Poole talking to young guys. You saw Chris Middleton taking people on the side. You saw Marcus Smart talking to young folk. You saw AG getting active. We have good leadership here. We're in a good spot, man. Just give it some time. So, all right, guys, we're going to get into, should Carmelo Anthony, be Moore's finest, buy a minority stake into the Wizards? And what good ideas is he willing to bring forward for Monument Sports? We're going to talk about that. But before we do, tonight's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. The NCAA tournament is here, and FanDuel's giving you the chance to get in on the action like never before, because right now, new customers can get $200 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. That's $200 to use on everything from buzzer beaters to Cinderella stories and even who's cutting down the nets. Come on now. Now, you guys, I say it all the time, FanDuel is my jam. I make good money with FanDuel. And like I said, there's so many good reasons to get in right now and make some money, because not only do you have the rest of the NBA season, you have the NCAA tournament, but we are in the middle of baseball season, man. You got the O's, you got the Nats, everything in between. You got torpedo bats, everything, man. So look, visit FanDuel.com and get in on that college hoops action all tournament long. FanDuel. All right, AB, let's get back into this thing, man. So, Carmelo Anthony on his podcast did mention that he would definitely consider buying a minority ownership stake in the Washington Wizards, man. So before I get your take, whether you think he should or shouldn't do that and why, there was a couple things they kind of mentioned in his podcast that really kind of stood out to me. Number one, fan experience, creating more of a fan experience, bringing fans into the arena, which we know is a big issue in DC, because this is a melting pot. This is a big federal government area. A lot of people are not from here who live here. So really having that home court advantage can be tricky for a team like the Washington Wizards. All right, number two, what really kind of stood out to me is putting the right basketball and business people around him if he wanted to be that guy. And obviously, I think we kind of already checked those two boxes, but I do like those ideas for somebody who potentially would want to be an owner. So, AB, do you think that Carmelo Anthony should try to buy a minority stake? And do you think it'll be a good or a bad idea?
To me, it's like, I'm kind of iffy, because obviously when I think of ownership, former players, obviously some of the LeBron guy, I always bring up MJ and him, the Hornets, and how terrible of an owner he was, and just a lot of directions or decisions that were made that just were not good whatsoever. And the reason why the Hornets are not one of the best franchises in the NBA in history. So that's one thing. But then when I look at it, I'm a big Commanders fan. So we saw it with Josh Harris, Magic Johnson, those guys taking over, and they've done a great job. Even though the bar was set so low, they held a new standard, which I love. So at the end of the day, for Carmelo Anthony, you just told me before the stream that he was a B-more guy, or he's in between B-more and New York. I didn't even know that. So
yeah.
I also would say that it's interesting to say that he wants to buy the Wizards at all NBA teams. Well, right now, I think he sees the Wizards are on the right trajectory, because why would you want to buy out a team that doesn't have a bright future? I think he realizes the Wizards have a bright future with all these young guys here in DC. So I wouldn't say I'm opposed to it, but down the line, if it does happen and we look back to it and say, oh, wasn't it's just like a thing where when it happens, you'll realize it. But definitely, I agree with the whole like gotta get fans in the seats. It's been a problem, man. I mentioned the Commanders fans, a lot of Cowboys fans are at home games, and for the Wizards, a lot of away teams chanting MVP, MVP, MVP. So it's going to be an interesting situation to solve. But I think with winning on the court and with fan environment just going up and just a whole different winning environment, that's the main thing. I think that no matter who the owner is, it'll be fine. But if it's Carmelo Anthony and he does a good job, then also be it. So it's just going to be interesting to see how this goes down.
Oh yeah, I agree 100%, man. The rapper Mos Def once said that it ain't about where you're from, it's about where you're at, man. And obviously, he was born in Red Hook, Brooklyn, but he grew up in Baltimore, and he actually went to high school in Virginia. I'm trying to remember the school, man. Is that one of the big Oak Hill, and so a lot of NBA players are going through Oak Hill. Is one of those pro factories, man. So yeah, he's a local product, and let me get into every perspective here. At first glance, I wanted to say no. Because when you look at, like you said, AB, former players like MJ, he was to me, he's the GOAT. Now I get it for people who are younger, LeBron's their guy. I think that, not that I'm trying to go off course a little bit, but I think every era kind of prioritizes the star player of their era. So it's hard to really get into the GOAT situation, even though, come on now, MJ's the GOAT. But anyway, he was a terrible owner. I mean, let's not forget where he was first an executive at. For the Washington Wizards. I mean, when he was done playing for the Wizards, they fired him. And then that's when the disaster really started to happen, man, when Ernie Grunfeld was hired. But it's a long list of people that, just because you're successful as a player doesn't mean you'll be successful as an executive. And it's more than MJ. I mean, don't forget that Phil Jackson was a coach. But when he wanted to make that step as an executive for the Knicks, it was a disaster. Isaiah Thomas, similar thing. When he went to go coach the Knicks, it wasn't a good situation. So, it doesn't always translate. Now, let me say this. He wants to buy a minority stake. It's not like he's talking about buying the team from Ted Leonsis. So I think that he could bring two things. Number one, people will definitely pay more attention if he's part of the ownership group. Look at like you said, AB, look at Magic Johnson. I mean, his name alone, people associate with success, number one. And number two, people want to support an organization when you have people like that who are iconic, who just Magic Johnson's one of those guys, man. Everything he touches turns to gold, especially business wise, man. So he definitely he brings people to the stadium. I think that Carmelo Anthony with his local ties, with just the way his podcast, with this digital age, man. I think that he's at the age where he knows how to get the most out of the digital age. I think he brings fresh ideas to the Wizards. I think more people will show up. And he mentioned, like I said, the two things that really stood out was, putting the right basketball and business people around him. Now, I think that they're in the right direction already. I think that when you look at the new front office, the new scouting department, the coaching staff that is analytical, but they focus on development. I think we've already checked that box. Especially, you see the Wizards are trying to, as far as outreach, not only in DC proper, but with the Commonwealth of Virginia, with PG County, Montgomery County, Maryland, and B more. I think they're trying to do a great job doing that, not only reaching to DC, but to Virginia and Maryland. Even, Delaware. That's what I'm saying. When you look at market size, AB, we're not just talking about 3 states here. If you really want to be technical, you got Delaware. You got probably the northern part of North Carolina. You got West Virginia. I mean, this is a market that needs to be tapped. There's more than just DC, Maryland, Virginia. This is an area where there's people coming out from West Virginia come to games, man. There's people come from the Tidewater area, Newport News, and Hampton coming up to games. So this is a prime situation to really capitalize on a market that I think is untapped and can be one of the best markets in the country. So I think that I would consider it if I was Ted Leonsis, because I think that his name alone will bring people in the seats. And I think that he will bring fresh ideas. Like I said, at first glance, I was like, good Lord, no. But when I thought about it, and I listened to his podcast, and like I said, whether you're a fan of him or not, what he really broke down made sense. He could bring some fresh ideas. And sometimes, and like I said, Ted Leonsis is a businessman. And I think that when you look at the business model, sometimes bringing in younger people, fresher ideas is a good thing for a business. And he knows that, because look, Ted Leonsis is a businessman. I mean, look. I mean, especially just look at sports real quick. Not only does he have, the practice facility over in Southeast, but he's got the Capital One Center, but the Hershey Bears. I got family in Harrisburg, man. So the Hershey Bears up there. He owns that. Where George Mason plays. He was at Eagle One Arena. He's got that. So he's a businessman, and he knows that stagnancy destroys business. you got to keep bringing in fresh ideas. And I think that Carmelo Anthony would definitely do that. He's got the local ties. He's got the name. I mean, he's in the same draft class as LeBron. I mean, he's got the name. You know what I mean? So I think he can definitely bring in some fresh ideas. And I'm with the AB. At first, I was like, oh, my Lord. Because when you look at MJ, you look at so many different examples of players. And it's more than Isaiah. What was it? Larry Bird was a coach. And that was kind of a mixed bag with Larry Bird being a coach. So being a player and trying to make the jump to being a coach or an executive isn't always a smooth transition. But I think it could be with him being a minority owner. So before we move on to comments, man, you got anything else you want to cover as far as Carmelo Anthony, man?
Yeah, as much as a legend Melo was, at the end of the day, the NBA is a business, and you talked about it not too long ago where Ted Leon says you got to change something up because eventually Alex Ovechkin, he's going to retire 3 goals away from breaking Gretzky's record. So, again, it's going to be interesting to see how these next couple years pan out with this Wizards front office, this Wizards organization. If those decisions do happen, how much will they affect on the court? We'll see. I'm not saying they shouldn't bring Carmelo Anthony, but you got to have some caution before you make a decision like that, like a former player like Melo, and how much attention it would bring.
No, I'm with you, baby. You know me, man. I try to look at every perspective, and I totally understand why people would be hesitant, why they would be skeptical. I get it, man, because it's a small piece of me. It's skeptical, but I think that he could bring fresh ideas because, like I said, when you look at the fact that these players have podcasts, they have different ways digitally where they have that reach with the fan base, man. I think you utilize that. It's not like it used to be. Even when you look at the early part of the LeBron era, technology was just starting to go on the come up, man. Like I'm technically I'm a millennial, man, but when I was growing up, we didn't have a lot of technology like we do now, man. Like, we still click when we wanted to change channels, we clicked on the front of the TV. I mean, I remember putting foil on the antennas, you know what I mean? Like my first cell phone, I didn't get one until I was in high school, and it took like 15 minutes to do a text message. And by that point, I didn't even care what I wrote. I mean, how technology has advanced in such a small amount of time, man. I think that if you want to have a successful business model, you've got to tap into technology. You have to. And I think that you bring in a fresher guy, younger guy like Carmelo Anthony, I think it could be a positive step. But then again, I get the skepticism, man. I just made up a whole new word, man. I get why you could be skeptical about that. So, like I said, I try to look at everything from every perspective. And I get both perspectives, man. So, like I said, we're going to go ahead and move on and get in the comments like we always do. And that is the question tonight, everybody. Would you consider Carmelo Anthony a good candidate to be a minority owner of the Washington Wizards? And why or why not? All right. But before we do, tonight's episode is brought to you by 5 Hour Energy, y'all. Daylight savings snuck up on us again. And if you're feeling that lost hour of sleep, 5 Hour Energy has your back, baby. The extra sunshine means more time for fun, but sometimes you need a little boost to power through. Whether you're staying up late watching the NCAA tournament, squeezing in around the golf after work, or just trying to keep up with your busy day, 5 Hour Energy gives you that quick, refreshing pick-me-up whenever you need it. All right, so, I'm a father. I work all the time. I'm always on the go. Sometimes you just need an extra boost, man, that you don't get in the morning with coffee. Sometimes, especially in the afternoons, you feel tired, man. You don't feel like doing anything. You don't feel like working out. You don't feel like cooking dinner, man. If you want to definitely get the most out of your afternoons and nights, man, head to 5hourenergy.com to find over 15 flavors to choose from, including watermelon, blue raspberry, and peach mango. You can even build your own 12-pack or 24-pack delivered right to your door. Need one now? Grab a 5 Hour Energy shot at your local grocery or convenience store. They're everywhere. Stock up today and stay energized. 5 Hour Energy. All right, so let's get in the comments. But before we do, we got a shout out, man. Today was National Autism Awareness Day. And this is obviously Autism Awareness Month. So shout out to my youngest son, Malachi, man. Love you, man. Like I said, definitely want to shout out to everybody who's a parent or anybody who's on the spectrum. I know there's some people that watch the show that are on. Definitely there's much love. I got love for you. So definitely shout out to everybody on the autism spectrum, man, because it definitely is personal to me. So like I said, I didn't want to do that shout out real quick. All right, so let's get into comments, everybody. Let's see. And Locked on Law starts off like he always does, AB. He says, no, Carmelo should stay the heck away from my basketball team. And we could have had DeMontis Sabonis, but no. I'm gonna let you tackle that one, man.
Oh, man, you got to love Locked on Law's first comment of live stream. Again, initially you could say Carmelo, no, but again, bringing in new ideas could be a new thing. And then Melo's name maybe some guys will look at it and say, oh, a guy like Carmelo, an owner I can relate to, maybe have a better relationship with him. We can bring in future stars to the Washington Wizards. Again, just trying to put two and two together here, like trying to, play devil's advocate. But again, if you see, like we've seen in the past where players, owners, is it doesn't mesh well, then I can see that. And Domantas Sabonis, I've been a big fan of him at the time. I thought the Wizards should have traded him as well, but it is what it is at this point of his career. I don't think he wants to consider coming to DC, and I think we're fine with the young guys right now. There's no point in going back in this playing if then. It's just, you gotta go what you got, and we got these young guys and they're ready to roll for these next couple of years.
Yeah, man, you can't do that. Woulda, coulda, shoulda. I mean, I was almost a lumberjack. Not really. I'm just playing, but I mean, you kind of see where I'm going with it, man. I agree with you, AB. Everybody's got a perspective, and like I said, I'm all about dialogue. Either you do, you don't. So Carmelo, like I say, I think that he could bring fresh ideas, but again, I definitely understand if you would be hesitant with that move. Sabonis, there was a lot of traction with him potentially being on that team with Bradley, Bill, KP, and Kyle Kuzma. There was a few birdies who were saying that they were looking at Sabonis at one point, and I think you add him to that team, that would have been box office team, man. I think that would definitely. I'm a big fan of Sabonis, man. AB, I don't know if you're watching that. There's what is Starting Five is a series on Netflix, man, where it has. Yeah. Have you watched that?
I've seen it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's got Sabonis on it, man. I like the guy, man. I've always been a big fan of him, man. So anybody who if you're on Netflix, definitely consider watching Starting Five. I believe they got a next season coming up. It kind of goes over, behind the scenes of being an NBA player. So definitely be on the lookout for that. The Son of God says, yes, Melo, buy the team. All right. So, we got, like I said, we got 1 for 1 right now. One who doesn't, one who does, man. Let's see, guys. First of all, my guy, Uptown Dre, what's good, brother? He says, yo, my brother, what's good? He also says, AJ Johnson and Bud tonight. 2 tall guards, they need to add some bulk. Absolutely. But our present and beyond, like, great. Solid dub. AB, before I get your take, man, I agree. You can argue, yes, Bub, definitely AJ needed to add some weight, man. But this 3-hit guard rotation we had with JP13, AJ, and Bub, man, I love it, man. I love what I see long term, and I think that I'm gonna ask you real quick, AB. Do you think that 3-hit monster at guard is a reason why you don't need to look at guard at all this draft coming up?
I was just about to say that. Be great minds think alike, but yeah, man, there's just abundance of great a young talent that we have at guard. You might not need to have to draft a guard this upcoming draft. And I get it. If someone's if a top 5 pick, if it's just someone you can't pass up on, then maybe consider. But right now, they're showing why. AJ Johnson, that quick first step he has, I don't want to compare it to John Wall, but he's just so quick and flashy and bouncy. It's just like, holy crap, we got this guy at the trade deadline for it's amazing. And then Bub Carrington, that mid-range shot, his ability to shoot it from 3-point land, and he can also dish the ball. And then when you add on Jordan Poole who's 25 years old, about to turn 26. Thank you. I saw the comment. Someone corrected me. It's just this is amazing. Be like how we have such a good group here in the guard room, and then if you bring in a wing, or you already have a good rotation with the center, just bring in Wolf or whoever in this draft. It's just when you put all this together, it's just you're gonna have to see how it goes, and it's gonna be great. I'm telling you, man.
No, I agree, man. I agree. I don't think you need to look at guard, even though I've made it known that Dylan Harper in certain situations, yes, but I think that you can rest easy with these 3. You have a fringe all-star in Poole. Bub Carrington's a dog and definitely a star in the making. And same thing with AJ Johnson. You have 3 guys who could be high-level guys in this league, in my opinion. Lob Koulibaly has his take on Melo. He says, I love Melo. He grew up and went to school in the DMV too. He said he wants to buy into the ownership group so he wouldn't take over, but it'd be interesting. Yeah, it's a minority stake. So, I'm with you on that. He's definitely a DMV native. He also says Melo will also bring a lot of much needed positive PR to the org and make people understand the project and rebuild going on. Most important thing I thought was that he wants to buy in. That's big. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you got somebody who wants to be part of the process, man. I mean, that says a lot. I think he's a local guy that wants to, because here's the thing, we often talk about, obviously, the Wizards connection to DC because it says Washington on the front of the jersey, but the origin goes back to Baltimore. The Baltimore Bullets, they used to be the Baltimore Bullets. It all started in B-More. So people often overlook the connection between the Wizards organization or the Bullets organization and Baltimore, man. Because before there was even a Cap 1, they were playing a Landover. Just saying, it goes back a little bit. So I'm with you. I think it would be a positive step. I say it all the time. I say it again. I get it why you'd be skeptic, but I think it would be a good move because I think that he's shown that he's. I think I'm excited. I think he could definitely be a good move. All right, No Breaks New. And before I get into his comment, shout out to my guy, No Breaks New. He did a it was a promo, and then we're definitely waiting on that interview there, No Breaks, man. But he was able to sit down with Bilal Koulibaly. And don't forget, Be Cool, the nickname came from my guy, No Breaks New, man. So, like I said, he was able to break bread with Bilal, man. And like I said, we are waiting on that interview, brother, because look, so if you have not subscribed to his podcast, man, like I said all the time, I'm going to definitely put in the link to his podcast. Look, you got to check it out, man. So, No Breaks News says, what's up? I say play hard. If we win, we win. Lose, we lose. I get you, man. A last place doesn't guarantee anything. Absolutely. A top 3 pick is good enough for the stage of the rebuild. Love JV and Bub exchange. I was laughing out loud. I'm with you, man. You know, people saying, oh, I don't want them to win because it's not the NFL, man. It's only a 14% chance. And culture matters. I'd rather see them build that chemistry, build that culture, and play to win than to just say, forget about it. And then, because like I said, without the effort, without the culture, without all those intangibles, man, it's not a guarantee people progress. You need the things behind the scene, development, culture, chemistry. That's how people progress, man. And you do that by playing hard, playing to win, not just laying down. And I think we got a reaction out of them tonight, AB. Like I said, they stepped up. They played hard. They won a good game. And how did they win it? They played as a team. So when they win as a team, or they play as a team, they win as a team. So again, shout out to my guy, No Breaks New. All right. Allen says AJ Johnson has an extra gear with the ball. He has a great handle and a very quick acceleration. He has a chance to be special, just like Bilal and Sar. How bad do we want to be great? We are going to be something, man. Give us another year and a half, AB. I'm telling you, give us another year and a half. You're going to see a young and dangerous team. We will be a playing team in 2027. 2028, we will be in the playoffs. You heard it here first. I'm trying to tell you. I know, AB, you're rocking with me. I'm not, man. Like you said, great minds do think alike. I'm just saying. Locked Law has this comment. He says, what gets fans in the seats is not our bum former NBA player owners. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm not gonna get on them. Like, you know, I appreciate the perspective, Locked Law. I do. Definitely appreciate the comment, man. Like I said, you either like the idea or you don't. You know, and I get that why, you know, when you look at past examples, why you'll be hesitant. But I think that, you know, I think there's more pros and cons. I'm willing to give it a chance, man. Like I said, we'll see. If it doesn't, you know, we'll see, man. I think we have a lot of options, but I'm not totally against, to be honest with you. I am a little skeptical, but I think that a majority of me thinks it would probably be a good step. Link was good, man. It says if Melo wants to help with marketing and getting fans in the seats, I don't have a problem with that. Just let the front office do what it's doing. Yeah, I'm with that. And I'm gonna ask you if you agree real quick, AB. But I think we have a good situation with the front office. I think we have a good situation with the scouting department, the analytical department, the coaching staff. You know, from a marketing standpoint and bringing fresh ideas, yes. But, you know, you kind of agree with that sentiment where you don't really want him to make major changes as far as the front office?
Yeah, no, definitely. I've always been a preacher about the fact that let the professionals do their job and you be you when it comes to owner. Like, that was a big reason why a lot of people didn't like Daniel Snyder, the former owner of our favorite football team. He was always meddling in operations. And it doesn't make any sense that you're affecting something that's potentially, you're building a championship team. Why affect and make moves that you just have no idea what you're doing? Let the pros, the people that know what they're doing, do what they're doing. It's their job, and just be an owner, man.
Yeah, I'm with that, man. Let the sports people do what they have to do, man. Do what they're paid to do. Kind of echoes the Commanders a little bit, don't you? Remember that when I ain't gonna say his name, man. The former owner who liked to stick his nose in everything in football. We don't have that anymore. We got a legit owner over there for the Commanders, so I'm with you on that. Uptown Drake says Caps are set. They're ready to prosper forward after Ovi. The Hershey Bears keep winning Cedar Cups, man. I'm a big Hershey Bears fan, man. I'm gonna get up there and watch them next year, man. And the talent keeps coming up through the ranking. It's all on the whiz now. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I think that, I don't know, the Capitals after Ovi, we'll see, man. I think they might rebuild, but I think that it's not gonna be a long one. But I'm with you. You know, right now, yeah, you know, you can say the Nats too. I think the Nats are gonna be better than advertised this year. You know, I'm not gonna get too deep into baseball, but you know, James Wood and Dylan Cruz, man, just saying. And Mackenzie Gore, 13 Ks on opening day. There's definitely a case for optimism in the 202. Remember, Lay says, hey, what up, fellas? I wouldn't be opposed to the idea of Melo having a minor stake. He could possibly be innovative, and he has the respect from the league. Can't hurt to pick his brain. Nice job as always. Appreciate you, man. Definitely appreciate you tuning in. And that's the kind of reasons why I'm very, you know, I would consider it, because I think he can definitely bring some innovation. And like I said, he definitely has a reputation around the league. So, you know, he definitely would bring people in the seats. So, all right, guys, we're at the 34-minute mark. So we're going to try to knock out 2, maybe 3 more. So, like I said, I hate to miss any comments, man, but it is what it is. All right. Thomas Montgomery, how you doing tonight, man? Says the Pelicans, Utah, and Charlotte are flat out tanking. We are organically trying to win games. We are just young, learning on the job. The culture is being established. I agree, man. Especially with a win like this, you see that. I agree 100%. Appreciate you, man. And he's got an interesting take here, AB. Let's see. He says Carmelo might be making a chess move to eventually have his son on the team. Oh, okay.
I was gonna bring that up, B. I was gonna bring that up, but I just feel that's too much of a stretch. But now that I'm not the only one that thought about that, then hey, man, I don't know. I think Keon right now is a 3-star, so again, I don't know how much that. Again, like I don't. He's playing at Syracuse, right? Did he commit?
Yeah.
Okay.
Committed to Syracuse.
So I can't wait for college basketball next year. Bonza, the Boozer twins, and Ada Med still hasn't committed, and now Keon. So it's gonna be fun to see, man.
No, I mean the kid could play. Like I said, I was able to not really meet him because I was there was a large crowd of people, but like I said, I was able to see him at the Big Three with his dad Carmelo in Baltimore, man. And shout out to my guy, the real Ed Oliver, man. And so like I say, very humble young man. And he's the guy that I'm looking at, and obviously Elijah Arenas, man. He's my guy. Arenas is the son, man. He's the guy that I think he should definitely wear a Wizards uniform at some point. All right, guys. Let's do one more for the road, AB. Link says, I don't know if Carmelo himself would bring fans in, but I'm saying if he has marketing ideas on how to promote the team, they win. But I see what you mean, Locked Along. Yeah, I mean, we got an interesting dialogue in the comment section. So, all right, guys, we're going to go ahead and call it a night. So, again, we have the second of a back-to-back tomorrow night. The Orlando Magic come into D.C. And so we're going to go live at 9:30. So definitely tune in and chop it up with your boys, man. And I will be at the Philadelphia 76ers game on the 9th, man, which is the last home game of the year. So I will definitely get in there, get active with the Q&A and the post-game press conference, man. All right, everybody. Before we roll, AB, got anything else you want to cover, my brother?
Hey, man, the Wizards' 17th win, 2 more than last year. Again, improvement. It might be slight improvement, but it is improvement.
Hey, man, progress. It is progress, man. So, like I said, keep the faith, y'all. We'll see y'all tomorrow night. Hail to the Wizards and peace.